Stand up! Vanguard!
What's up, Cardfighters? Ryan here from Vanguard Central, bringing you guys an updated Spike Brothers Dudley deck profile. They did get a new support from the Reckless Rampage booster that just came out this past weekend, so let's go ahead and get started. Starting with our grade 3s, we are running 4 copies of Dudley Jessica. She's basically the main boss for the Dudley subclan now that the new set came out. And it actually makes Geronimo a really good stride, because now you have support with it. And so she basically gets you a free Dudley from the deck when you stride over Geronimo. And her GB2 is actually really good, where it basically becomes a cross ride, because all the units in your front row with Dudley in its name get plus 2k. And it's not just during your turn, but also during your opponent's. And next you're running 3 copies of Dudley Lucifer. He's pretty much there for the name, just because you can get him with Jessica's skill, and also if you have to end up riding him, he's still a Dudley. And then also 1 tech of Bulldozer Dobe, because his charge skill is amazing, where if he's placed on rear guard during battle phase, he gets plus 10,000. So he's a pretty big hitter on Geronimo plays, or any play really, as long as you're GB1. Moving on to our grade 2s, we are running 4 copies of Wink Killer Misery. Misery is amazing in this Geronimo deck, just because everything is going to go back to the deck anyways, and so you're going to have the open rear guard to set up your field, and it's going to be swinging for even bigger number, because Wink Killer does give it plus 5k, as well as Geronimo with it already attacking from either the back row or front row, whatever. When it attacks, basically plus 5k. And then next we got 4 copies of Dudley Mason. We're running Dudley Mason because of his early game. He gets you the pieces that you need also, which is pretty neat, and also that he is a Dudley, so you can get him out with Jessica's skill. So get a little nice deck thinning in there. And then 3 copies of Heave Wheeze, because he's basically the grade 3 version of Dobe, or grade 2 version, I mean. And plus 10,000 is pretty scary in this deck, since everything that attacks does get powered up. Moving on to our grade 1s, we are running 4 Perfect Guards. Yes, I know we only have 2 Cheer Girl Marilyn and 2 Alma, but we're working on the Almas, guys, promise. They're coming in soon. It's kind of a counterblast heavy deck, so you wanted to get the unflips in here. And next we got 4 copies of a Stride Fodder, because this is a stride based deck. 3 Reckless Express. I feel like this card's very good in this deck, because this deck doesn't really soul boss a lot. In fact, it adds a lot of soul, so you can really abuse this guy, especially on a Geronimo turn where he swings for 17k by himself if you use his skill, either from the back row or front row or wherever. It's really good. And then 3 copies of Nyan Rook, because Nyan Rook in this deck is also amazing. Pretty much a stronger Generation Break version of Reckless Express, where if it's placed during charge skill, it gets plus 4k, and also when it gets sent back to the deck, you can choose another unit and have it plus 4k. So it also fixes numbers, and you basically have an 11k booster or attacker, or 16k attacker on a Geronimo turn. Moving on to our triggers, we are running 6 crit, 4 of them being Silence Jokers, since this is kind of a counterblast heavy deck. And then we got 6 draw, because this is a combo based deck, but it's also really aggressive, so going half and half 6/6 is pretty nice. And then also 4 heals, because we like healing. And for our starter, we're playing Mecha Trainer, the best starter, basically because it grabs you all the ones that you want, anything you want, especially a Perfect Guard, which is just ridiculous, or a Stride Fodder, which now Spike Brothers do have. So Mecha Trainer is obviously the best choice. Moving on to our G Zone, we are running 4 copies of Dudley Geronimo. Dudley Geronimo is amazing because he can also be your first stride, but really his Generation Break 2, or 3 I mean, is what makes the deck crazy, because it enables anything that's attacking, gives it plus 5k, and then also you can attack from the back row. So with Wink Killer Misery, just imagine everything that goes back into the bottom of the deck. You have open rear guards, you can basically have multi-attacks up the butt, and they're all going to be swinging for big numbers. And then 2 copies of Shootdown King Miracle Ace. Miracle King, or Miracle Ace I mean, is probably the first stride you want to go into. It's pretty hefty on the counterblast, because it's the first, Mecha Trainer counterblast, Wink Killer counterblast. A lot of people counterblast, but you want to unflip a lot in this deck, so that's why we play Unflipping Perfect Guards and Silence Joker. So he's good for the first stride, because if you do have charged units, everything that goes back, you can choose another unit and give it plus 5k. And the GB3 is somewhat okay, since you don't use a lot of soul in here, since it's all up to Reckless to use all that soul. You can go ahead and abuse that if you wanted to, but it's typically the first stride, so you're going to use them only one time. And then next we got 1 copy of Great Villain Dirty Picaro, the dirtiest guy ever. He's kind of there. He needs a shower big time. It looks like he's taking one. So he's kind of there for a situational, if you're playing in a control matchup where you don't really have a field, and you strode a few times, so you can go ahead and refill that board for pretty much not free. And lastly, 1 copy of Godly Speed Flash Boost. He's a good first ride also, but I like going into Miracle Ace first just because you get Jessica's Generation Break 2 off. It's setting up basically a cross ride, so it makes guarding a lot easier. But Godly Speed is kind of there for just situational purposes. Thanks for watching, guys. That was our new updated Spike Brothers Dudley deck profile. Let us know what you guys think down below. Like us, comment below if you guys have any questions about the deck, and subscribe if you guys want to see some more. Vanguard Central, out.